Don't look at the monitor.
Okay. We've been doing this a year. We're professionals. Go. Wait, am I saying or are you saying it?
Wait, am I recording?
I hope it wasn't recording when I used the bathroom. That would definitely be something we need to change.
It's wireless. Okay.
All right. Wait, who's saying what?
Well,
I'll say, yeah. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Hey there, so collectively? Yes. Hey there, collectively, Ty and I have been working together to do YouTube for an entire year, almost. And we've learned a few things. We have produced videos almost every single week for an entire year, which is a lot of hard work. But we've learned a lot of things that work and a lot of things that don't work along the way. And we're going to share that with you in this video.
Roll the intro, Ty.
Hey, yeah, you do it.
Hey there. Her name's Katelyn James. And welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is a place we love to empower photographers to build purposeful and profitable businesses, while also a little of the inside of our everyday life. Right?
That's it.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So we started this YouTube channel a year ago, February 2020. We had no idea what 2020 would hold. It ended up being quite the year for a lot of different reasons. I think everyone understands the pandemic situation. We basically started meeting and filming and had this game plan, and then COVID hit. That changed some things. Then a month after we started this whole project, I got pregnant. That changed some things.
Which we shouldn't have been surprised by, KK, honestly.
Well, we're pretty sure.
Whenever we do any sort of a big video project, KK is always pregnant, so...
Yeah, it's really ironic that I've been filmed more during my pregnant years than any other time in my entire life. So very humbling. But we have learned things about doing YouTube for a year. Our goal in doing this was to create regular content to reach new people, new photographers that live on YouTube for their education already, and also just to pour ourselves and our time and energy into something besides just Instagram and just Facebook and just our email list. And it's been a really fun project.
Yeah. And it kind of replaced the blog a little bit.
It has replaced the blog in a lot of ways.
Replace in that it can, this isn't supposed to be a direct one-to-one replacement, but replace that void that the blog filled in terms of content, SEO, reaching new people and new content and stuff like that. Yeah. And
we love blogging about these new episodes, but we also realize that I can share more information faster through YouTube than sitting down in this season of life and typing out a blog post. We also polled our audience, and everyone would much rather have YouTube playing in the background while they're editing than reading through a blog post. So we've combined the two. We blog about these new episodes. It's great for SEO, but we also produce more content more quickly by having a consistent YouTube channel.
Yes.
But we did want to share just a little bit of our experience about what this year has entailed for us, because we do get some questions quite often about what this looks like, and if someone did want to start YouTube, what they should know. So maybe this will help somebody.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that we've realized that has helped us grow.
Well, and in case you don't know who I am.
Sorry, this is Ty.
My name's Tyler. Most people on the internet call me
Good friend of ours.
I've been friends with Katelyn for a long time.
He is the original KJ blog stalker.
That's right. I used to be a KJ fangirl. I am still recovering. And I'm just channeling all my inner KJ fangirldom into a YouTube channel. What would 2010 Tyler want Katelyn to make a YouTube video about? But yeah, we've worked together. We've done courses and all sorts of video content.
Anything that has been professionally filmed in my life, he has done. Yeah. So if you love our courses, I wouldn't say KJ All Access is professionally filmed. It is truly behind the scenes. It's great, but it's a different caliber. And so, if you love
everything else.
Yeah, everything else. If you love our courses, you get to thank him.
Yeah. And so in the past year, I've basically taken the role of YouTube producer / filmer / editor
/ encourager, because I don't always feel like doing this, especially when I'm pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah.
All those things. So
there have been many times where Ty's like, "Come on, KK, you can do it.
You can do it, KK.
One more episode."
I will say I'm impressed. It is harder than it looks. So I will say that. But yeah, and then so if you ever see little blurbs pop up in the videos, that's me. Or if you hear my voice at the end of every video saying bye,
that's Ty.
So anyway, okay. Now we can jump in.
Well, and maybe we should say before we dive in that we experienced. We have 150,000 people on an email list and 100,000 followers on Instagram. And so I think in both of our minds, we were kind of thinking we're going to have 10,000 subscribers in one day.
Easy. Yeah.
That's not how it works. And we learned that the hard way, but we also learned, which I think most people on YouTube learn this way, is that growing a YouTube following is very different than growing any other type of following. And you can't compare it to Instagram or an email list or anything like that. And but in some ways, I think that was a good realization for me. It's like, just because you have a big following other places doesn't mean you're guaranteed that here, and you've got to work for it. And that was really good for us.
Yeah, I think we definitely both came into this expecting a certain level of success. And obviously, like, you did have some YouTube subscribers. I think we started with
4,000 or 5,000.
4,000, somewhere in that range. And
those poor people weren't given anything for years.
It was just, I don't even know how those people found your YouTube channel.
Yeah, me either.
But yeah, we kind of expected those big things. And Katelyn, obviously, having such a big audience is different. But we knew the whole point of YouTube was partially to serve your existing audience, but we also wanted to really be able to reach a new audience that we weren't able to reach in those other platforms.
Right.
With all of, like, the really dedicated KJ fans, which are great. But we were trying to figure out how can we reach beyond that scope of people. And that was our goal for YouTube. And it took a while. I think we got there.
We did get
eventually.
there.
It just took a while.
It probably took from, honestly, February to September.
Yeah.
Ish. That's when we really started getting responses like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen you before. You're not the normal YouTuber, but I really like this." And we started realizing, oh, we're finally reaching our people on YouTube. It just took us a while to get there.
Yeah. And the big catalyst was the R6 videos, the series of videos, because, and we've all known that, like, those types of products, like any big new camera that's gonna make a big splash is going to be good in terms of, like, search algorithms and things like that. But it was good to see the response from people was not just like, oh, I like your videos, like, they're good, high quality, whatever. It was like, hey, I really love your personality and your approach and your whatever.
Right.
Because that's what the uniqueness that KJ can bring to a space like YouTube, which is, there's plenty of camera reviews out there, but there's only one Katelyn James. So that's what we were going for.
So a few things that we've noticed about this year that have worked well. One thing would be consistency and simplicity.
Yes. Consistency is king when it comes to YouTube. I think that's where people get really held up, is that they'll post a video or two or three and then maybe don't see the numbers that they're hoping for, and they get a little discouraged or frustrated and they give up. I've personally done that many times on my own YouTube channel. But the fact that we were able to kind of, almost ignoring the numbers for a while, and we'll talk about this, I think, a little bit further down, is like, we're not completely ignoring the numbers, but just putting our head down and knowing, okay, every week, regardless, we're going to make some sort of a video. And some weeks may be better than others, and some weeks may not be so good, or the response may not be as good, but we're going to take each video as, like, a learning experience and just move on to the next one. We're just going to keep posting.
And we're committed.
Yes.
Committed. And it's interesting because the first few months, I would say, we didn't really know what our rhythm was as far as content.
Yes.
But what we realized over time is that simplicity actually played a huge role in figuring out what actually worked. So not trying to do everything, not even trying to do a little bit of everything, but really simplifying down to what does this audience respond to the best, and what do we need to cut and what do we need to enhance. And I think really getting clear about that helped us a lot.
Yeah, and even from my end, the simplicity in terms of the way that we're filming and the gear and all the different things, like trying to keep that even as simple as possible from week to week to week.
One thing that we learned the hard way, unlike a lot of other videos and the way you host them on different platforms, you can replace them on Vimeo. You can't replace YouTube videos. Like, once they're live, if you want to keep the traction happening, they're permanent. So if you have a typo, you just can't fix it. It's just there. So we have learned that we have a team member now that proofs our videos. Yeah. And guys, if you... This happens to me. I'm so bad at proofreading, so I get it. But that's a good thing that we know.
And then a lot of that falls onto me, and just figuring out a schedule. So I think the real heart behind this is more of, like, the importance of having a schedule that you're sticking to and trying to get ahead. We've had grand goals of getting really far ahead.
Months ahead.
Which, technically right now, we are getting months ahead. More out of necessity than anything else.
Yes.
But yes, it is really important that you give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. There have been times where, based off of your timing or my timing or whatever, we've been editing and exporting videos all the way up until noon on Thursday and things like that. And sometimes you can get away with it, and sometimes you find some typos. And
he has to have a rhythm, and we have to have a rhythm.
Right, and finding the sync of that.
And we both have young kids. It's tricky. Sometimes things fall through the cracks, but just like he needs to have a system to get everything done by Thursday, I also fall short sometimes with my system of getting the word out that a YouTube video has been posted. So our best system is that we post a YouTube video and I get to share it on social media. And then we also send an email out to our list to let the diehards know that there's new content for free that they can watch. And sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. So consistency, when we're both consistent, it's like this beautiful, wonderful, well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And then when we're not, we just got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, and again, it's the same thing as like if 1 week isn't great or there's a tip or whatever. I mean, again, being able to move on to the next thing and always just being ready to continue on.
Yeah.
It's just a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It's not life or death. Not
life or death. And another thing we wanted to point out for people maybe who are trying to do YouTube and they're frustrated, I wouldn't say that we have arrived and that we are, we reached our goal. I would say we're still getting there. But I do think that I had to keep in my mind constantly that when we first started this and we had our team powwow meeting about what YouTube is going to look like, Ty re-emphasized over and over again that like this is a long-term game. Like this is not fast and it's not instant and we will have to work for this. And so I kept reminding myself every week through morning sickness, through wedding season, through weird pandemic stuff, just reminding myself that like I'm putting in the time for this because one, we're serving people in a cool way, giving them great information for free. But two, this is for long-term gain. This is not going to happen overnight.
The power of YouTube comes in the long term because you make a video one time, has the possibility to be found and viewed and watched daily for years and years and years to come. And we had a good example of this. We had a video this year. I'll actually put the graph on the screen right here. I have the power to do this. I can put the graph on the screen. Where you can see for the first 120 some odd days that we had this video posted, it did okay. It did a kind of like our normal videos and it had a very flat view growth. And then all of a sudden one day it hit the algorithm just right. Something happened. I don't even really know what. And all of a sudden now it's taking off and it's the most popular video on our channel. And every day there's thousands of people who are watching this video and learning about Katelyn and clicking on the links and doing all those different things.
Right.
And we're basically building a catalog of videos that have the potential to do that. So our goal would be even a year from now that we would have 6 or 7 videos with that same sort of trajectory or even more, so that we're at the point where we're getting, and even now we're getting thousands and thousands of views a month, way more than the single video that we're posting, or the video a week that we're posting. And that's where the growth is. The growth becomes exponential. The longer you do it, the more valuable it becomes. But you have to be able to persevere through the early parts where it's not so exciting. Right.
And waiting for that first video to hit that algorithm bump, you don't know when that's going to happen. Right. So you've got to trust that it's coming. And for us, I mean, I don't know when we did that, but it's interesting.
Really the R6 videos is like probably the biggest.
Yeah, and it's funny because that video that did grow exponentially alongside with the R6 videos has nothing to do with the R6, but that is what people latched onto. And it's just very strange. Like that was filmed a long time ago, but right now it's performing better than the newest content. So it's just very different than like you're not going to experience that on Instagram and you're not going to experience that on Facebook even. Right. It's a YouTube specific algorithm. So I had to get used to that. I'm not used to that. So now I'm learning how this process works. Something else that we worked on was figuring out, and we've mentioned this before, but the simplicity and intentionality of content. I'm a mom and love documenting my kids' lives, but we realized that, Evie's birthday party on YouTube is probably not going to do as well as an R6 review. So, and while I would love to have more personal content, and we plan to do personal content, we are trying to figure out how personality and who we are can be a part of YouTube without sacrificing what actually works on YouTube. And we've actually found in a very interesting way that we are embedding our personality and who we are and who Michael and I are together in a way that's not strictly like stripped down to just personal, but just in the way that we do teach people through our content.
Yeah, and I think that's been, seeing all those comments from those R6 videos, I've been like, wow, like this has been such a great review from somebody who actually is, actually using the camera, or this is so real, or whatever. Like those types of things are so fun to see because we weren't really trying for those videos. We weren't trying to make them personal. But your personality just came through in them. And finding that balance between, that's what I was talking about earlier about reading the analytics. Like when we post videos that, may not be as strong from an algorithm standpoint, but like reading the comments and the feedback and kind of taking all those things into account when we're planning the content for the future has been really beneficial and helpful and important in kind of shaping what we did. I think at the beginning we did too many family videos in a row, and people were kind of starting to lose a little bit of interest.
You're like, what is this about? What is this channel about?
A little bit less relevant to the core of our audience.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't want it to just be things that are solely for the algorithm, because that's not fun for you. And then people can tell when you're not as passionate about it or whatever. So the thing I like to say is always like one for us, one for them. So we pick one video topic that's very much just, we know it's going to hit the algorithm well, and it's, you know, a smart video to make in terms of what our audience would want to see and what YouTube would want to see. And then one video of whatever we want, like whatever you are passionate about, whatever we think would be good, whatever we feel like making. If you kind of can alternate that, or at least kind of try and keep those things in mind and not get too far one way or the other, then I think that'll be helpful in finding success.
Yes. And overall, I think for me, the most freeing thing, the thing I struggled with like mid-year was thinking like, I've got to like make myself this like techie YouTuber, and that's not me. Like, it's just not me. But we've found that like I can share valuable information in a way that's not like, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I do understand what I'm talking about. I'm just not, I'm not the person that's studying gear like Ty is maybe, but I still have content that I can share in regards to this new camera and just speak authentically about my experience with it. And the truth is, I think there are a lot of people out there that are like me, where they value tech stuff, they value understanding how their camera works, but they're not deep divers. And someone commented and said, it's just nice to see someone positive about a gear review. And I don't watch enough YouTube to understand what they're talking about, but the more that I'm in this world, the more I realize that there's actually kind of a lot of really harsh criticism, a lot of kind of negative nitpicking. And for me, I will share what I struggle with, but I honestly really love this camera. So it's fun to be able to be myself, but also help people in a way that works on YouTube, and that helps people for what they're searching for on YouTube, and to also introduce these people to what we have to offer photographers in the process, which was the ultimate goal.
Yeah. And I think, you know, everything, keeping it as genuine as possible. Like, we want to, again, the whole point of doing YouTube is to grow our audience and to tell people about products and courses and things like that. Like, we don't want to ignore and hide that fact. We're not trying to be sneaky and pretend like we don't have motives here or that are beyond just like,
it's got to be a good use of our time and smart business strategy.
Yeah, but at the same time, we don't want the whole thing to just be super salesy and super like we're trying to milk this for all it's worth or whatever. So yeah, I think finding that balance has been good, and I think we've definitely found it more as time has gone on. I think that you felt more comfortable, even though you've been on video for so long. It's different creating a course versus creating a YouTube video. It's just different.
Yeah. And so ultimately, at the end of the day, if someone was thinking about doing YouTube, or someone had questions about, you know, has this been a worthwhile year for us? I would say yes. And I say that because of a few reasons. One, as an educator and as someone who loves to give people content and constantly feel like I'm enhancing their life and their business, I really felt like I was falling short in that until we had a YouTube channel, because I became a mom. Sitting down to blog just wasn't feasible. And this has empowered me to be able to have a way to share new content and to feel like I am helping people constantly, while also making content that's paid content. Like, we're still doing KJ All Access, which is our membership site. We launched a few smaller products this year, but I've never but I've never been able to constantly create content for free while actively producing new paid products. And so this is the first year I found a rhythm and a way to do that. So for me personally, feels great as an educator, but also just as a person who, it's a type 3 on the Enneagram, I feel like I have a way that I can do what I want, but it's manageable and it's attainable because we have help. So that's another thing to point out, is that I am not doing this all by myself. Right. Michael and I are not making a whole YouTube channel happen on our own. This guy's making it happen. So very thankful. And I think ultimately another reason why this has been great is because it's allowed us to get clear about what our audience needs, what they really are asking for. And so instead of making content that doesn't really apply, like, we're really listening and paying attention to comments and what people are have questions about. And so it just feels very much like a great new addition to the KJ content creation system.
Yeah. So. And like I said, it only gets more valuable and more impactful over time. So it's only been a year, and we're around like 16,000 subscribers, which is great. You know, the fact that we've grown as much as we have in 1 year is really awesome. But it's one of the things that we're hoping will be only, you know, exponential growth even from there.
Yeah.
To keep continuing to grow and to do whatever. And you know, COVID has obviously restricted a few of the things we're able to do this year, and I think we have some ideas for, you know, how we can take things kind of like a new level and you know, get even more in depth with these things. But it really comes down to, again, consistency is the most important thing, and then kind of, you know, going from there. And yeah, I mean, I have lots of great ideas, KK, that we need to explore.
We gotta rein them in sometimes. Yeah. But no, thank you guys so much for tuning in and getting just a little bit of kind of like a year in review of like what it's been like for us to do this channel. Thank you for those that watch, those that have subscribed, those that have engaged in comments. Michael actually helps me with all the comments. He reads every single one of them. Sometimes to me when I'm trying to like watch our show, like on TV, he's like reading YouTube comments. I'm like, can I just watch my show? But I do appreciate them, and I do pay attention to them, and I love hearing from you guys.
As do I, and I actually respond to more comments than you probably even realize. So
yes.
Sometimes if you see a response, it might be me.
It could be me or it could be Ty.
I mean, we should probably differentiate which is which. But we really do appreciate all of the like support over the course of the year, and we're excited for 2021. And if you have any ideas, anything you'd like to see, any YouTube video ideas, topics, series, any of those things, we're very open.
Let us know.
Because theoretically, Katelyn won't be pregnant in 2021, so the sky's the limit.
I can say honestly, I will not be pregnant in 2021, so I will have a lot more energy, and I won't be sitting at a counter hiding a huge child. So
me neither. So
yeah, thanks for tuning in. We hope we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.